Çok teşekkür ederim.
ziyaretiniz.
Çok teşekkür ederim. Tabii arkadaşlığımız çok eski zamandan, çok eski senelerden beri başlamış bulunuyor. Bunu şahsen birbirimizi tanımak suretiyle şüphesi çok kuvvetlendireceğiz efendim.
This is Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of modern Turkey and a visionary leader whose legacy still shapes the nation today. Born in 1881 in Salonika, he was not only a military hero who led Turkey to victory in the War of Independence, but also a reformer who transformed a defeated empire into a thriving republic. Did you know he was a pioneer in advocating for women's rights? And he even changed the Turkish alphabet from Arabic to Latin? Stay tuned as we dive into the incredible journey of his life and discover how his bold ideas continue to influence Turkey's path forward. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founding father of the Republic of Turkey, was born in 1881 in Salonika, a cosmopolitan port city in the Ottoman Empire, now known as Thessaloniki in Greece. His birth name was Mustafa, a name given by his parents, which later became synonymous with the modernization and secularization of Turkey. The environment in which he was born was marked by diverse ethnic and religious communities, which played a significant role in shaping his views on nationalism and modernity. His father, Ali Riza Effendi, was a customs officer and later a lumber trader, known for his progressive and secular outlook. Ali Riza was a proponent of modern education and believed in the potential of new ideas to transform society. Unfortunately, his progressive ideas were ahead of his time, and he often found himself at odds with the more conservative elements of Ottoman society. Mustafa's mother, Zubeyde Hanim, was a devout and strong-willed woman, deeply rooted in traditional values. Her religious devotion and conservative views provided a counterbalance to Ali Riza's modernist leanings. Mustafa Kemal was the couple's only surviving son after the loss of several siblings in infancy. The early deaths were not uncommon in the late 19th century Ottoman Empire, where healthcare was rudimentary and infant mortality rates were high due to a lack of medical advancements and prevalent infectious diseases. This made him the center of his mother's attention and affection. Zubeyde Hanim was fiercely protective of her son and played a crucial role in his early upbringing. She was determined to provide him with the best possible education despite the family's modest means. Mustafa's early education began at a local religious school, but his father soon transferred him to the Semsi Effendi School, which provided a more modern and secular education. This move reflected Ali Riza's belief in the importance of modern education and its potential to open up new opportunities for his son. The death of Ali Riza Effendi in 1888 was a significant turning point in Mustafa's life. The family was left in a precarious financial situation, compelling Zubeyde Hanim to move them to her brother's farm in the countryside. Despite the challenges, Zubeyde Hanim was determined to ensure her son received a good education. Recognizing Mustafa Kemal's potential, she soon moved them back to Salonika, where he could attend better schools. This decision was a testament to her resilience and unwavering commitment to her son's future. In Salonika, Mustafa Kemal attended the Salonika Military School, where he excelled academically and began to display leadership qualities. His discipline and hard work paid off, leading to his acceptance into the Monastir Military High School in 1896. He was a diligent student, particularly excelling in mathematics, where his teacher gave him the additional name Kemal, meaning perfection. This period of his life was formative as he developed a strong sense of duty, discipline, and a keen interest in military strategy and national politics. Mustafa Kemal's relationship with his mother was deeply affectionate and respectful. Zubeyde Hanim's influence on him was profound, shaping his values and character. She instilled in him a sense of duty, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to his goals. Her support and encouragement were crucial in his pursuit of a military career and his later endeavors as a leader and reformer. In 1899, he enrolled in the Ottoman Military Academy in Istanbul. His studies continued at the Ottoman War Academy, where he graduated in 1902 with the rank of lieutenant. By this time, he had begun to form strong opinions about the need for reform within the Ottoman Empire, influenced by the nationalist and progressive ideas circulating among his peers. His academic success and growing political awareness set the stage for his future role as a military leader and reformer. Mustafa Kemal's first assignment was in Damascus, where he joined a group called Vatan ve Hurriyet, Fatherland and Freedom, a secret society dedicated to the overthrow of the Sultan Abdul Hamid II's autocratic regime. His activities with the group marked the beginning of his active involvement in the revolutionary movement. His time in Damascus was also significant for his intellectual development, as he was exposed to various political ideas and philosophies that would later shape his vision for Turkey. In 1908, the Young Turk Revolution succeeded in restoring the Ottoman constitution, and Mustafa Kemal's career advanced. He participated in the Italo-Turkish War in 1911 to 1912, displaying his strategic acumen. His military prowess was further evident during the Balkan Wars, where he served with distinction. These early experiences not only honed his military skills, but also deepened his understanding of the complex political landscape of the Ottoman Empire and its surrounding regions. His most notable military achievement came during World War I at the Battle of Gallipoli. As a commander of the Ottoman forces, he played a crucial role in repelling the Allied invasion. His famous order, "I do not order you to fight, I order you to die," exemplified his determination and inspired his troops to hold their ground against overwhelming odds. The successful defense of Gallipoli made him a national hero and cemented his reputation as a brilliant military strategist. The victory at Gallipoli was not just a military triumph, but also a significant morale booster for the Turkish people, fostering a sense of unity and national pride. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire found itself on the brink of disintegration, plagued by internal turmoil and external pressures. The once vast empire was reduced to a fraction of its former territory, and the Allied powers sought to impose their will on the remnants of Ottoman lands. This period of intense uncertainty and upheaval culminated in the Treaty of Sèvres, signed on August 10, 1920, which aimed to dismantle the Ottoman Empire and redistribute its territories among the victors of the war. The terms of the treaty were exceedingly harsh and sparked widespread outrage among the Turkish population. The Treaty of Sèvres imposed severe territorial losses on the Ottoman Empire. The agreement called for the cession of vast regions to Greece, Italy, France, and Britain, effectively stripping the empire of its control over key territories. The treaty also proposed the establishment of an independent Armenian state in eastern Anatolia and granted significant autonomy to the Kurdish regions. Additionally, the strategic straits of the Dardanelles and the Bosphorus were to be placed under international control, further eroding Ottoman sovereignty. These terms were seen as an affront to Turkish national dignity and a threat to the very existence of the Turkish nation. Mustafa Kemal, a decorated military officer and national hero from the Gallipoli campaign, emerged as a vehement opponent of the Treaty of Sèvres. He viewed the treaty as a betrayal and an unacceptable compromise that would leave Turkey vulnerable and fragmented. Driven by a vision of a sovereign and independent Turkey, he embarked on a mission to organize a resistance movement against the occupying Allied forces and the Ottoman government, which had accepted the treaty terms under duress. In 1919, Mustafa Kemal moved to Anatolia, the heartland of the Turkish resistance, and began to rally nationalist forces. His arrival in Samsun on May 19, 1919, marked the beginning of the Turkish War of Independence. Recognizing the need for a unified and organized effort, He convened the Erzurum Congress in July 1919, followed by the Sivas Congress in September of the same year. These congresses were pivotal in consolidating the nationalist movement and establishing a framework for resistance. They brought together representatives from various regions, uniting them under a common cause and laying the groundwork for a provisional government. The Erzurum Congress, held from July 23 to August 7, 1919, adopted a set of resolutions that emphasized the indivisibility of the Turkish homeland and the right of the Turkish people to self-determination. These resolutions formed the basis of the nationalist platform and garnered significant support from local leaders in the broader population. The Sivas Congress, held from September 4th to 11, 1919, further solidified the nationalist movement's objectives and strategies. Mustafa Kemal was elected as the head of the Representative Committee, effectively positioning him as the leader of the nationalist resistance. In 1920, Atatürk and his supporters established a provisional government in Ankara, which became the epicenter of the nationalist movement. The establishment of this government marked a decisive break from the Ottoman authorities in Istanbul and symbolized the determination of the Turkish nationalists to forge a new path. The Ankara government sought to mobilize resources, coordinate military efforts, and negotiate with international powers on behalf of the Turkish people. Under Mustafa Kemal's leadership, the Turkish forces engaged in a series of military campaigns against the occupying Allied powers and their proxies. The struggle for independence was arduous, involving numerous battles and complex negotiations. One of the key turning points in the war was the Battle of Sakarya, fought from August 23rd to September the 13th, 1921. The Turkish forces, led by Atatürk, managed to halt the Greek advance into the heartland of Anatolia. The battle was fiercely contested, and the Turkish forces demonstrated remarkable resilience and strategic acumen, ultimately securing a significant victory. The success at Sakarya was followed by the decisive Battle of Dumlupinar, fought from August 26 to 30, 1922. This battle marked the culmination of the Turkish counteroffensive and resulted in a crushing defeat for the Greek forces. The victory at Dumlupinar effectively ended the Greek occupation of Anatolia and paved the way for the withdrawal of Allied forces from Turkish territory. Throughout the war, Mustafa Kemal's unwavering commitment to Turkish sovereignty and his ability to inspire and mobilize his compatriots were instrumental in the nationalist movement's success. His leadership was characterized by a combination of military prowess, strategic vision, and a deep understanding of the political landscape. He successfully navigated the complexities of international diplomacy, securing crucial support from various factions and negotiating favorable terms for Turkey. In 1923, the Treaty of Lausanne was signed, marking a significant turning point in Turkish history by recognizing the sovereignty of the newly established Republic of Turkey. This treaty, signed on July 24, 1923, in Lausanne, Switzerland, replaced the highly unpopular Treaty of Sèvres, which had threatened to dismember the Ottoman Empire. The Treaty of Lausanne effectively redrew the boundaries of modern Turkey, securing international recognition of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. This diplomatic triumph was largely due to the efforts of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, who had led the Turkish War of Independence against the occupying Allied forces and their local proxies. Following the signing of the treaty, he was unanimously elected as the first president of the Republic of Turkey on October 29, 1923. This election marked the formal end of the Ottoman Empire and the beginning of the Turkish Republic, ushering in a new era of governance and national identity. His presidency would become synonymous with an ambitious program of reforms aimed at modernizing Turkey and transforming it into a secular, progressive, and nationalist state. One of the foundational principles of Mustafa Kemal's vision for Turkey was republicanism. He believed that a republic, as opposed to a monarchy, was essential for the development of a modern state. This principle was enshrined in the new constitution, which established a parliamentary system and emphasized the sovereignty of the people. The abolition of the Sultanate and the Caliphate was a clear demonstration of the commitment to Republican values. By separating religious authority from political power, he aimed to create a state where governance was based on the will of the people, rather than on dynastic rule or religious dictates. Nationalism was another cornerstone of Ataturk's reforms. He sought to foster a strong sense of Turkish identity and unity, transcending the diverse ethnic and religious composition of the former Ottoman Empire. This involved the promotion of the Turkish language and culture and the suppression of ethnic separatism. His vision of nationalism was inclusive, aiming to integrate all citizens into the new Turkish identity, regardless of their ethnic or religious backgrounds. This emphasis on national unity was crucial for the stability and cohesion of the nascent republic. Secularism was perhaps the most transformative aspect of Mustafa Kemal's reform agenda. He was convinced that the separation of religion and state was necessary for the modernization and progress of Turkey. This conviction was reflected in a series of radical secularization measures. The abolition of the Caliphate in 1924 was a decisive step in this direction, effectively ending the religious leadership that had been a hallmark of the Ottoman Empire. Religious courts were replaced by secular courts, and the legal system was overhauled to align with European models. The adoption of the Swiss Civil Code and the Italian Penal Code exemplified the shift towards secular, rational legal frameworks. These sweeping changes were met with significant opposition from traditionalists and conservative factions within Turkish society. Many viewed the abolition of the Caliphate and the secularization of the legal system as a direct attack on Islam and its role in public life. The traditionalists, including religious scholars and local leaders, were particularly vocal in their resistance. They argued that these reforms were undermining the cultural and religious fabric of the nation, which had been deeply intertwined with the Islamic faith for centuries. One of the most notable incidents of opposition was the Sheikh Said rebellion in 1925. Sheikh Said, a prominent Kurdish religious leader, led an uprising in southeastern Turkey, motivated by both Kurdish nationalist sentiments and the desire to restore the caliphate. The rebellion was brutally suppressed by the Turkish government, but it underscored the deep-seated resistance to Mustafa's secularization efforts. In response to such opposition, the government enacted the Maintenance of Order Law, Takrir-i Sukun Kanunu, in 1925, granting Ataturk extraordinary powers to quell dissent and enforce his reforms. The law led to the closure of religious schools, dervish lodges, and other religious institutions that were seen as centers of opposition. Additionally, the independence tribunals, Istiklal Mahkemeleri, were established to try those accused of participating in anti-secular activities. In addition to the judicial reforms, religious institutions were also brought under state control. The Directorate of Religious Affairs, Diyanet, was established to oversee religious activities and ensure they remained separate from politics. Religious schools were either closed or transformed into secular institutions, and religious instruction was removed from the general education curriculum. These measures aimed to limit the influence of religion in public life and promote a secular national identity. Education was another cornerstone of Mustafa Kemal's reform agenda. He believed that a modern education system was crucial for the development of an informed and enlightened citizenry. The Tevadi Tedrisat, Law on the Unification of Education, centralized and secularized education, bringing all schools under state control and ensuring a uniform curriculum. This law, passed in 1924, marked a significant departure from the traditional religious-based education system. The focus was placed on scientific and technical education, with an emphasis on modern subjects such as mathematics, science, and history. Teacher training programs were expanded, and new schools were established across the country to ensure access to education for all children. Language reform was another significant aspect of his modernization efforts. In 1928, he introduced the Latin alphabet to replace the Arabic script previously used for writing Turkish. This reform was aimed at increasing literacy and making education more accessible to the general population. The transition to the Latin alphabet was accompanied by a massive public education campaign, including the establishment of people's houses, halkevleri, and nation schools, millet mektepleri, to teach the new script. This reform had a profound impact on Turkish society, facilitating communication and integration into the global community. The adoption of the Latin alphabet also made it easier for Turks to learn Western languages and engage with Western scientific and literary works. Mustafa Kemal also placed a strong emphasis on women's rights as part of his vision for a modern and progressive Turkey. He believed that the participation of women in all aspects of society was essential for national progress. Legal reforms were introduced to grant women equal rights in matters of marriage, divorce, and inheritance. In 1930, Turkish women were granted the right to vote in municipal elections, and by 1934, they were given the right to vote and stand for election in national elections. These reforms positioned Turkey as a leader in women's rights, well ahead of many contemporary nations. Women were encouraged to pursue education and careers, and significant strides were made in improving women's access to education and employment opportunities. Mustafa Kemal's efforts to promote gender equality extended beyond legal reforms. He actively supported women's organizations and encouraged women's participation in public life. The establishment of the Turkish Women's Union in 1924, for instance, provided a platform for women to advocate for their rights and contribute to the national development. Prominent women leaders, such as Halide Edip Adıvar, played a key role in promoting women's education and social participation, often with his support and encouragement. Economic modernization was another critical component of Mustafa Kemal's vision. He aimed to create a self-sufficient and industrialized economy capable of supporting the country's development. State intervention and planning were central to this strategy. The state established and operated key industries such as textiles, iron and steel, and transportation. Infrastructure projects, including the construction of roads, bridges, and railways, were undertaken to improve connectivity and facilitate economic growth. Agriculture was also modernized through the introduction of new farming techniques, machinery, and irrigation systems. These efforts were aimed at increasing productivity and reducing the dependence on foreign imports. One of the major economic initiatives was the establishment of state-owned enterprises, known as Bank and Bank, which played a significant role in the development of the industrial sector. These enterprises were tasked with spearheading industrialization efforts and creating job opportunities for the growing population. The government also introduced protective tariffs and subsidies to support domestic industries and reduce foreign competition. In the agricultural sector, the government implemented land reforms to improve productivity and support rural development. Large estates were broken up and land was redistributed to small farmers. Modern farming techniques such as crop rotation, the use of fertilizers, and mechanization were promoted to increase agricultural output. Irrigation projects were undertaken to bring more arable land under cultivation, particularly in the arid regions of Anatolia. Throughout his presidency, Mustafa Kemal demonstrated a hands-on approach to governance, personally overseeing the implementation of many reforms. His leadership style was characterized by pragmatism, meritocracy, and a commitment to scientific thinking. He surrounded himself with capable and forward-thinking individuals, fostering a culture of excellence and innovation within the government. His ability to inspire and mobilize people was a testament to his charisma and leadership skills. His presidency marked the beginning of a transformative era in Turkish history. His ambitious program of reforms fundamentally reshaped Turkish society, laying the foundations for a modern, secular, and progressive nation. The principles of republicanism, nationalism, and secularism that guided his vision continue to influence Turkish society and politics to this day. His legacy as the founder of the Republic of Turkey is enshrined in the nation's history, and his impact on the development of modern Turkey is profound and enduring. In summary, the signing of the Treaty of Lausanne in 1923 and the subsequent election of Mustafa Kemal as the first president of the Republic of Turkey marked the dawn of a new era. His presidency was characterized by an ambitious and comprehensive program of reforms that sought to modernize Turkey and transform it into a secular, progressive, and nationalist state. Through his efforts in secularization, language reform, women's rights, and economic modernization, he laid the foundations for a modern Turkey that continues to shape the nation's trajectory to this day. His legacy as a visionary leader and reformer remains deeply ingrained in the fabric of Turkish society. Mustafa married Latif Usaklagil on January 29, 1923. Latif was a highly educated woman from a prominent and wealthy family in Izmir. Fluent in several languages and well-versed in Western culture, she embodied the modern and progressive ideals that he envisioned for the new Republic of Turkey. Their marriage took place shortly after the conclusion of the Turkish War of Independence and in the midst of the founding of the Republic. Latifi actively participated in public life alongside her husband, often seen by his side at official functions and meetings. She was a visible symbol of the progressive changes Mustafa Kemal was advocating, particularly in the realm of women's rights. However, despite the outward appearance of a modern partnership, their marriage was marred by personal and ideological differences. The couple's relationship was turbulent, marked by frequent disagreements and conflicts. Latifeh's strong personality and her involvement in political and social matters sometimes clashed with his expectations and traditional views on marriage. These differences eventually led to their separation. After just 2.5 years of marriage, they divorced on August 5, 1925. The divorce was kept relatively private, with few details disclosed to the public. Following the separation, Latif withdrew from public life, while Mustafa Kemal focused on his ambitious program of reforms for the new republic. Despite the personal setback, he continued his work with undiminished zeal. He was known for his sharp intellect, charisma, and command over multiple languages, including French and German. He had a keen interest in the arts, particularly in music and theater, often attending performances and supporting cultural initiatives. Ataturk did not have any biological children of his own. However, he did adopt several children, reflecting his commitment to modern education and the future generations of Turkey. Ataturk's adoptive children included girls and boys from various backgrounds, each of whom he raised with the intention of giving them a strong education and instilling in them the values of the new republic. Among his adopted daughters were Sabiha Gökçen, who became the world's first female fighter pilot and a symbol of the progress Turkish women could achieve under the new secular and modern state. Another notable adopted daughter was Afet İnan, who later became a prominent historian and sociologist, contributing significantly to the academic landscape of Turkey. Mustafa Kemal also had a great love for animals, particularly dogs and horses. He often kept them as pets and was known to be very affectionate towards them. This aspect of his personality reflects his compassionate and humane nature, which was evident in his interactions with both people and animals. His interest in agriculture and modern farming techniques led him to personally oversee the establishment of several farms, promoting modern farming practices and contributing to the development of Turkey's agricultural sector. Ataturk led a relatively austere lifestyle. He was known for his love of raki, a traditional Turkish alcoholic beverage, which he often enjoyed during social gatherings. However, his heavy drinking and smoking eventually took a toll on his health. In the later years of his life, he suffered from cirrhosis of the liver, a condition that significantly weakened him. Despite his declining health, Mustafa Kemal remained actively involved in the affairs of the state, driven by his dedication to the republic and its people. Ataturk's legacy is enshrined in Turkey's political and cultural fabric. His principles, known as Kemalism, continue to influence Turkish society and politics. Kemalism, with its emphasis on republicanism, nationalism, secularism, statism, reformism, and populism, forms the ideological foundation of modern Turkey. Ataturk's vision for Turkey was one of a progressive, secular, and democratic nation, integrated into the global community while retaining its unique cultural identity. Ataturk's influence extended beyond Turkey's borders, earning him international recognition and admiration. Leaders from various countries acknowledged his contributions to modernizing and secularizing Turkey, and his ideas inspired reform movements in other parts of the world. Despite the controversies and challenges he faced, he remains a towering figure in the history of the 20th century, whose legacy continues to shape the trajectory of Turkey and its people. The father of all Turks spent his final years tirelessly working to further the development and modernization of Turkey. Despite his declining health, he remained deeply involved in the administration and implementation of his reforms. Ataturk suffered from cirrhosis of the liver, a condition exacerbated by his long-standing habits of heavy drinking and smoking. His deteriorating health became more apparent in the mid-1930s, yet he continued to participate actively in state affairs, driven by his commitment to the nation. In the latter part of his life, Ataturk focused on consolidating the reforms he had initiated and ensuring their sustainability. He continued to advocate for secularism, modernization, and national unity, recognizing the importance of these principles in securing Turkey's future. Despite his failing health, Ataturk remained a central figure in Turkish politics, offering guidance and leadership to his successors. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk passed away on November 10, 1938, at the Dolmabahce Palace in Istanbul. His death marked the end of an era and was a moment of profound national mourning. The Turkish nation grieved the loss of its founding father, whose vision and leadership had transformed the country. The news of his death resonated deeply across the nation, and his passing was marked by widespread sorrow. Ataturk's funeral was attended by a vast number of dignitaries, reflecting his significant impact not only in Turkey, but also internationally. Representatives from numerous countries came to pay their respects, acknowledging his contributions to modern statehood and governance. Following the funeral, his body was transported to Ankara, the capital of the republic he had founded. In Ankara, Ataturk was interred in a grand mausoleum, Anıtkabir, which was completed in 1953. Anıtkabir stands as a monumental tribute to his legacy, designed to symbolize the ideals and aspirations of the Turkish Republic. The mausoleum has since become a site of national pilgrimage, drawing visitors from across Turkey and the world who come to honor Ataturk's memory and reflect on his enduring influence. Anıtkabir not only serves as his final resting place, but also as a potent symbol of the enduring values he championed: secularism, progress, and national pride. His legacy continues to inspire and guide the Turkish people, and his contributions to the nation remain a cornerstone of modern Turkish identity. In conclusion, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk's life and legacy are a testament to his unwavering commitment to the principles of republicanism, nationalism, and secularism. His visionary leadership transformed Turkey from the remnants of a decaying empire into a vibrant and modern nation-state. Ataturk's reforms in education, language, law, and women's rights were groundbreaking, laying the foundation for a progressive and inclusive society. His personal qualities of discipline, intellect, and compassion combined with his strategic acumen and dedication to his country, make him one of the most influential figures in modern history. His enduring legacy continues to inspire and guide future generations as they navigate the complexities of the modern world.